Hello everyone and welcome. In today's episode, we will talk about some solutions I implemented in some other projects. So this is the special episode, not connected with our podcast, where we build the application for the veterinary shop. But I wanted to show you some, I think, interesting solutions I implemented there. And I have to warn you that if you are going with the podcast and you are going to learn the Django, Python, and Next 3 step by step with the Cod'em All podcast, then I think you should skip this video because I will make some spoilers here. Okay, so let's take a look on the current implementation. And as you see in the application I have created for my customers, we have a section vacations. Here we can manage the employees' vacations and employees' requests for the vacations. We can accept it, reject it, and so on. One of the functionality here is to creating the reports, and we can create the reports of the applications created by the employees. And as you see, now it's absolutely simple implementation where we can just push the button and create the PDF file, or at least that's maximum what we can do. We can change the month of the applications we want to have on the PDF file. And that's something customers want to change. That's something I wanted to change because it's absolutely too simple for this application. Now let's see the solutions I have implemented after the customer's requests. In the final solutions, as you see, after the clicking report button, we have a pop-up window with a modal where in the first step we can choose the report template. After choosing one of the template we have created before, we see the settings, the criteria of the report, what can be changed by clicking the change criteria button. And customers see what the settings are, what the applications will be included into the final PDF file. So it's quite obvious for him. That was the purpose of the changes, that customers should see what will be included in the final report. In the next step, we choose the month of the report and then create generate report. As you see, the buttons at the footer of this modal, they are changed in the each one of steps, just because we have a limited space here in this pop-up, and I wanted to stay with this pop-up in a narrow version to be useful and to be convenient in a mobile version of this application. Let's see how this works with the backend application. In the Internet Browser console, in the Network tab, as we see, after clicking the report button and the pop-up appears, we have the first request sent to the backend. And this is the request sent to the report settings, which returns list of the settings we can now choose in the select field. It looks quite simple. Let's look how this works with the backend files and with the backend application. As you see in the backend files, we have a typical implementation for the view set, and with the serializer class, with the query set, with model. Model, as you see, is absolutely typical model, nothing special here. I would say that it's quite boring implementation, except two things I want to point your attention to. First, as you may see, we are sending the request to the report settings without any identity of the company. and in response we are having the objects only related to the logged user company. How I achieved this? You see, we have this company filter mixin. Company filter mixin, this is the special class we can add to any other viewset classes. And we can inherit from this class. As you see, it's absolutely simple and it adds only the additional filtering with the company. And we are getting the requested user company. Each user have this property of company. And we are adding the filtering to this query set. So we always can be sure that with this mixin, we will return only the objects related to the logged user company. The second thing worth to mention here is the permission classes list. As you see, we have two classes. Is authenticated. This is the class provided by the Django REST framework, and it just checks if the requested user is authenticated or not. The second class, this is the class I wrote to check the user access rights. I will describe this class in the podcast where we will have more time. And here I just wanted to show you in short how it works. As you see, we have this required permission object where we define what kind of permissions must the requested user must have to have an access to this view. Okay, that was the backend side, and I hope you like it. And we will discuss these solutions in a podcast where we will have more time. And now I want to show you a few things I have implemented in the frontend application, what may be also interesting for you. First, let's look at this model. As you see, it's in application report component. And here we have the whole scripts for this model. But let's focus at first on this button which is used to close the model. As you see, we have here props with confirmation and the action on emit at confirm. See in the button component how it works. As you see in the button component, at the beginning we are defining the props for this button. We have a few props. The one I want to discuss is the with confirmation. This is the boolean with default value false, but if we pass these props as a true, then in the handle click, as you see, we have this simple action. I mean, this action means that the first click displays the question, are you sure? And after confirm and after clicking it, the emit action is emitted from this button. So that's why we have that add confirm action defined in the shared button. So we have the 3 seconds to confirm this additional question, and if we won't do this, then we have to repeat it once again. I have implemented this just in case to have a more convenient way to have this simple confirmation about the changes you make in the application by clicking on the buttons. Now, within one component, we can use this as a traditional button and the button with confirmation. So as you see, it's simple solution, but it works really nice. The second thing I want to show you is the slots. As you remember, I was mentioned about the components, and they can have multiple slots. And here, how it works in my modal the component. As you see in modal.view, we have the base slot, which is used to insert here the whole content between opening and the closing tag. And we have the slot named footer. Using this footer slot, it's very simple. In the component where I'm using the modal, I'm creating the template named footer, and here I'm putting the whole content which will be put in this slot named footer. That's all, and as you see, it's absolutely easy to use. And the last thing, I won't discuss it here now because it's a very wide topic, but I want to highlight it to you that we will use it. It's the storage pinia. To make a better interaction with this form, with this report criteria model, I'm using the pinia storage, which is absolutely convenient in sharing data, in sharing the state of this form between the different components. As you remember, we was using the multiple slots where we have buttons, and these buttons have to make have the interaction with the main slot, and sharing data between these two slots. I think it would be inconvenient and the code would be not readable. With the pinia, with the storage, we have a very convenient and very readable code we can use, and I will show you, and I can't wait when I will be discuss the pinia, and I will show you how you can use the pinia storage in your application. Okay, that's all for today. I know it's too short, and all of these topics I have discussed here deserve for a much longer discussion. And we will have this discussion in the podcast. Today it was just the episode where I wanted to highlight you and to show you the solutions I have implemented, and I think they are convenient, and they will be implemented in the podcast in our vet application. So, see you soon and have a great day.